Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf alongside. Oh, 5-5-5-5. Yep. Lakers needed to win in order to keep with Nick's prediction of 5-5-5-5. Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall,
sweep. They're not rude,
Kevin
Jenna.
Wiles.
They don't want to actually sweep anybody. Gentlemen sweep everybody. That's always
They want to do it like gentlemen. If you're going to sweep, you may as well do it like a true gentleman. All right. We'll get to that in a second.
In trouble.
We got to start with the marquee game on the gridiron this weekend. Let's start in Dallas. This one all over the place. Cowboys, Browns. Dak threw for 500 yards for the first time and added 4 touchdowns. But what does Brandon tell you? Turnovers will kill you, and Dallas had 3 of them. Dak and Zeke fumbled on back-to-back plays in the first half, and Browns scored touchdowns off both of them. Cleveland jumped out to a monstrous lead. Cowboys mounted the comeback, but Dak picked off by Denzel Ward to end it and seal it. Cowboys lose. They fall to 1-3 with the loss. Here is quarterback Dak Prescott after the game.
I'm surprised. I mean, obviously, I've got all the confidence in this team. Each unit that we have, I see the way that we prepared throughout the week. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense and it doesn't add up right now. But as I said before, I believe in the men that we have, the great leaders and coaches that we have that we'll have it fixed.
Each unit shows up? Is that including the defense, Dak Prescott? Brandon, how worried should Cowboys fans be after yesterday's loss to Cleveland?
I mean, they should be extremely worried, and I don't know why Dak is surprised, because at this point in the season, you know the trends, and right now they have 2 alarming trends, and we've been tracking them for the last couple of weeks: turnovers and big plays. It's as simple as that. You know, every time we walk into a team meeting room, all coaches across the nation, they put up all these statistics and different stats that we need to track. If we're good in these areas, we can possibly have a good team. So when you look at the turnovers, and we can start there, they're number 1 in the league, giving up 9 turnovers with, these first 4 games. When you look at where they're at with the turnover differential, they're giving up 7. They're -7. That's terrible. They cannot expect to win if they're terrible in those categories. And they're also giving up 45 points off of the turnovers. And then you go to big plays. Maybe they need to call Earl Thomas to fix this. But when you look at the big plays, they're giving up 20. They gave up 20 big plays in 4 games. 20 big plays. That's alarming. And then when you look at 20 big plays for touchdowns, 20 yards, that's number 1 in the league. Big plays, touchdowns of over 40 yards, that's number 1 in the league. The only good thing they have going for themselves right now is the division. The division is messy. And then also, Dak Prescott's playing really well. So they got to clean up those 2 trends. They're alarming. Turnovers and big plays. If they do that, they'll have a chance to get back in this thing, because the division is extremely bad.
Right. They'll have a chance because they're in the JV division and because 1 win leads the division. But how should Cowboys fans feel? They should feel embarrassed. The only people who should be more embarrassed than Cowboys fans and players on the Cowboys defense are dopes on television who picked this fraudulent team to go to the Super Bowl. One of them's talking to you right now. This is ridiculous. I mean, this Cowboys team, every week, they look defensively like they all just met each other. Like it's pick-up backyard football. And it's like, oh, you had deep. I thought I had deep. Oh, it's terrible. And I'm hesitant to blame the coordinator for a couple reasons. One is, I haven't checked, but I'm certain it's somewhere in Brandon's career. Mike Nolan was a coach for one of his teams, so I got to be. Am I right on that, Brandon? Did you and Mike Nolan cross paths?
You are.
That's somewhere in your football lives.
Twice. Miami Dolphins and the
I knew it. I can't crush these coaches anymore because Brandon played for all of them. So that's a little frustrating.
You can crush
Mike
them.
Nolan, the Cowboys' newest defensive coordinator. He hasn't coordinated a good defense in his entire NFL career that didn't have Ray Lewis starting a middle linebacker. I mean, that's just the reality. Look at the resume. So they're not being coached up. They get no pass rush. They're addicted to trailing. They've trailed by 15 plus in each of their last 3 games. The one game they didn't trail by that much, they lost anyway. And Wilds, this is a bad football team with a quarterback that's playing really well, which is great considering the fact he's the one guy on your team not locked up long term. The best thing you have going for you is the one thing you don't know how much longer you're going to have it going for you. It's bad news in Dallas right now, Wilds.
Yeah, the only thing that Dak is doing better than throwing the ball is his post-game press conference when he's up there being like, oh, we expect to turn it around. We expect to turn it around. I would be going bonkers, Brandon. Like, guys, I don't know if you see your buddy Dak Prescott, but he's doing his thing out there. It's not my fault we've been down by 7, 20, 15, and 27, and I'm leading comebacks. He's first in completions. He's thrown for 1,690 yards. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns. And the idea that we're putting Dak Prescott up there, like, let's see what Dak has to say. Got nothing to do with Dak. Yeah, he got 1 Myles Garrett strip sack. It's like, oh, it's Myles Garrett. He's going to get that done. The idea that you're blaming, or he's mentioned in the same category as this dreadful Dallas defense is like as if your house was on fire and the fireman came over like, what's up with the air conditioning? Like, well, nothing's up with the air conditioning. Like, looks awful hot. Is there anything wrong with the air conditioning? There's nothing wrong with the air conditioning. The house is on fire. It has nothing to do with Dak. The defense looks dreadful. And I know you got friends around the league, and I know that we think Earl Thomas is going to come in here like a magician and stop these like dreadful performances, Brandon. But I think the problems run deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean, so Nick, great job pointing out that I played for Coach Nolan, and one of the things that was frustrating playing for him in Denver was the big play. And I don't know if I articulated this well enough earlier, but when you give up 20-yard plays, that's alarming. And then also those other 2 categories that I mentioned earlier as well. 20-yard touchdowns, 6 leading the NFL, and 40-yard touchdowns leading the NFL with 3. That's alarming. So Coach Nolan needs to fix that. One of the things that makes his defense special is the different looks that he throws at you, but it can confuse a younger defensive back segment group. So they got to clean this up right away because they're still
Brandon,
in this
division. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard.
Wilds. Here's the more blunt way to put it. All NFL teams break their seasons up into quarters. We are now through the first quarter. The Cowboys defense flunked the class. They get a giant blaring in big letters F, see me after class on their grade card for the first quarter of the season defensively. That's who they've been, Jenna.
But can I just jump in here? How lucky are they that they are living in a cushion called the NFC East? Because they right now, even though they are losing, could easily be winning. This thing can get flipped around quickly. All right, we'll talk about the Browns side of things in a little bit. Take a turn, though, and talk some basketball. Jimmy Butler.